And welcome to American Culture. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I've been going through with my mother. Lots of things. Long story short, she decided to get therapy. Now, the reason why this is pivotal is number one, we're all traumatized. And I'm a firm believer that therapy and Jesus will work wonders for everybody. Jesus for the moral characteristics, therapy for the exactly what in the world does this trauma do to me and how is it showing up in my life. With that being said, we're finally on the way there. But when I prayed about it afterwards, because I was elated, I always thank the Lord for things. He said, I answered this prayer a long time ago. And the thing is, you've got to stop living the life you're praying your way out of if you ever want to receive them. And so what was going on is in many ways, I was still supporting my mom being fearful, not wanting to move forward, the whole 9 yards, by being passive about it. But it finally got to a point where I didn't have any choice but to just tell her the truth of everything that I have been experiencing. I'm going to open the door wide to empathy here. There's no way we can close it. And it was in doing that she finally realized, you know what, you're right. We don't have a relationship other than the phone. And unless something changes, I'm not going to get there. I know that my mother wants the better life, but if she keeps on surrounding herself with people that support the old stagnancy, it's never going to get there. And I had to look at myself and say the same thing. I have all the tools and resources to do better, but if I keep on supporting the stagnancy, it's never going to change. If I keep on living the life I'm trying to pray my way out of, I will never receive the answered prayers. You see, like I said, I learned a lot of lessons, one of them about irreconcilable differences. It comes in when you are trying to love the way of the world, where your love needs to fix stuff. At one day, you're going to realize this can't be fixed with love. I done everything I possibly could, and it didn't work. You're going to have to switch over to the way that God loves, with kindness, careness, compassion, empathy. This love is going to have to grow. This love is going to have to evolve if we want to continue. And that is where I was with that situation with my mother. She's capable of seeing God's love, and that's the reason why we did the whole therapy thing. But then what God has been speaking to me personally, you guys, is about not self-victimizing, because there's a difference between being vulnerable and self-victimizing. People who are victimizing themselves, they need support, which means that, say, for example, my mom's like, I don't want to come out here, I don't feel good. Someone who's self-victimizing is going to need support for yeah, I understand, having gone through all that, it makes sense. But God says, no, I don't need you to be a victim. I need you to be vulnerable. Vulnerable means that you acknowledge the things that you're doing that's creating the situations that you're in, and you want out of there. When you want out of a situation, i.e. you're asking for God's relief, you're praying for something, the last thing you need is support to stay where you're at. No, you need intervention. You need grace and you need mercy. And God let me know that his grace comes in the form of what I send to you. People, conversations, resources, idea, all that is grace. And the mercy comes when you don't use it to make a better life. And so this life lesson is not necessarily about my mother and being disgruntled and whatever else with her. This is about changing so many things from the earthly way to God's way. One of them is being vulnerable. The truth will set you free. And it wasn't until I said, I don't really care how you respond to this. This is the God's honest truth, that it was finally enough to where she was like, I do want a better relationship. I do. I want to go places with my mother and I want her to enjoy it. But I like I said, I had to recognize there's no way. Nothing I do is going to fix you to the point to where you can enjoy the experiences that you're having. You're going to have to figure out how to do that on your own. All I can do is give you the telephone calls you're used to. And once she realized that's not really the life that I wanted, then that, again, the blessing, the help, all the stuff is already there, but we have to be willing to accept it. And so on the one end, I know you have all these these prayers that you want answered. So do I. A good possibility that a chunk of them have been answered, but you're still doing the old stuff. You're still thinking that you're broke. You're still thinking that you're unworthy. You're still calling yourself too sick, and you're not actually seeing what God has graced you with in order to make the life that you want. So yeah, it's been a long week, and I used to process these little hiccups, as I call them, when I get upset and they get mad and things like that. But now I just look and I say, okay, well, how is this reflecting to me? And I think I learned a very big lesson. Number one, what an irreconcilable difference is. We're going to have to love the way that God loves. It's the only way to fix this. And number two, to stop self-victimizing. I'm not being harmed by this. There's nothing doing that. I am in a vulnerable position. I do need to acknowledge what I'm doing to create the, brokenness here, and God will intervene. He'll grace me with people, stuff that I need in order to get me out of this current situation. But if I am expecting an answered prayer, I've got to stop living the life I'm trying to pray my way out of. I've got to stop having the thoughts I'm trying to pray my way out of. Have a blessed day, you guys.